Good morning. Today's lesson is about the 1930s, the American president Franklin Roosevelt. The New Deal was a series of programs and projects instituted by this great American president during the so-called Great Depression. Roosevelt, that aimed to restore prosperity to Americans, decided to introduce a package of economic programs, and its goal, its aim, was to help the unemployed, but also reform business and promote recovery. Thanks to him, banks were able to reopen, but were more closely regulated and savings better protected. And many of the measures proposed the New Deal were controversial, but they provided employment for about 5 billion people and restored confidence. Over the next years, the government instituted a series of experimental projects and programs. And Roosevelt's New Deal fundamentally changed the US federal government by expanding its size, especially its role in economy. First of all, Roosevelt said, "Let me assert my firm belief that the one thing we have to fear is fear itself." So you realize that if we are afraid of something, this is the first negative point to face. He also promised that he would act swiftly to face the darker realities of the moment, and assured Americans that he would wage a war against the emergency, just as though we were in fact invaded by a foreign problem. His speech gave many people confidence, and they had elected a man who was not afraid to take bold steps to solve the nation's problem. Roosevelt declared a 4-day bank holiday to stop people from withdrawing their money from banks. And this decision was considered very important for the Americans. So remember that thanks to Roosevelt, banks were able to reopen. They were closely regulated, but also savings were better protected. The final point to remember is that many of the measures proposed in the New Deal were considered controversial, but the employment of 5 million people helped the Americans to restore confidence after the Great Depression.